Now fast forward, Kentstreet ends up texting Mike, asking him if they still have a relationship, like are they still cool? Because on Kent's end, Kent feels as though Wiseguys doesn't really mess with him anymore. I don't know. Because on Kentstreet's end, he feels as though Mike doesn't mess with him anymore. So now fast forward, Kent hits up Wiseguys and claims that he feels as though Wiseguys doesn't mess with him anymore. He feels that they're not cool anymore. So he's just trying to check the waters to see, do Wiseguys and him have a rapport? So Kent responds back to Mike and he feels as though he deserves more. Kentstreet feels as though Wiseguys is supposed to go and give him money like how he was giving Enzo. He adds on and says that he thought he was getting a package deal. He thought Wiseguys was going to come and pay him, I guess, weekly or however, or monthly, whatever, for services or for work. That's what Kentstreet was more thinking. Kentstreet was more leaning towards that. That's what he thought Wiseguys was in the Instagram community to do. He also tells Mike how he never did or said anything wrong to offend Wiseguys or to come at Wiseguys. So in his mind, he doesn't see how or why Wiseguys wouldn't want to sponsor him. But I guess Wiseguys ends up leaving him on red. So Ken just keeps asking Wiseguys for more money or more help with money. You know, he says something like, oh, I need $100 now, I'll pay you back or whatever, something like that. And all Mike does is send to Kentstreet asking him for money, was just sending him his prayers, like, oh, well, I'm hoping you stay strong, I'm hoping you get through it. Like, he's basically like kind of like avoiding it because he could kind of see how Kentstreet is kind of using or wanting to only talk to or have a relationship with Wiseguys solely off of the money. So then Mike also shows messages of him texting John screenshots of his conversation between Kentstreet. So Mike, Wiseguys, he screenshotted his conversation with Kentstreet and sent it to John, and basically was calling Kentstreet a liar and a scammer because he basically got on the Zoom call with John and Jay Wavy and Enzo and everybody else to go against Wiseguys. So Wiseguys was basically responding to that video by saying, hey, you're basically lying. You're on that Zoom call lying because this is what I have of Kentstreet saying and this is what he's saying on the Zoom call. It's not making sense. And he mainly calls Kent a liar and a scammer because he tried to help him, and he definitely did help him. Like, this is why, like, I am with Wiseguys when he says Kent is a liar and a scammer. Not that I think that he's a scammer, but if Wiseguys was to say that, it makes sense because if you read the conversation, like just how Kent was kind of coming across towards Mike, or aka Wiseguys, it kind of came across like almost as if like he was talking to his father or his granddad or his sugar daddy. Like, it kind of, you know, oh, can you give me money so I can pay for my daughter's t-ball? You know, like I said, it's kind of, that's like unnecessary and has nothing to do with Wiseguys or the business or nothing. Now, let's say there was a form of business that Kentstreet can help Wiseguys with. Let's say, for instance, when he had his channel, posting his son's music or just posting whatever he needs to post to get Wiseguys' narrative out there. He could have done that, and then Wiseguys in return can sponsor him for doing that, and then the money that he gets with the sponsor is what Kentstreet is supposed to use to pay for his daughter's t-ball. You're not supposed to like text, or at least me, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't text my sponsor, hey, can you send me money for t-ball or for a phone or for things that are not like his job or his, like, that these are like luxuries. So it's like, yeah, you need it, but it's like a luxury because his daughter, I think, is 4 or 5 years old in the thread. That's what he said. So she don't need a phone really. So it's like, if you could have a phone, that'd be a luxury, but you're not going to die, or you're not going to be able to the child won't be able to not go through life at 4 years old properly if she doesn't have a phone, you know? So things like that where I could more lean towards Mike and you know, the Wiseguys on how he feels that they kind of like scammed, or like they're kind of just trying to like, hey, we're together, he's new, so let's throw it on him. But I'm also gonna add on that, again, it's not Mike is not just an angel in all of it, and he even if he watches this, that's not something that he would get mad. He would agree, because plenty of story posts, which if I didn't put up already, or I will put up, shows Mike basically, you know, taking accountability for him being a POS back in the day, or treating people badly back in the day. So what I'm saying is basically a reflection of what he's saying, and what he's saying to himself is correct, which is like, yes, the Instagram live community is wrong, but he's also wrong. And the one reason why I could say was from the John's arc. In the John arc, I mean, not in the John arc. In Famous Criminals arc, he was texting Famous Criminals about how he was never even fans of nobody in the community. He just solely got on the community to expose everybody who's in the community for their weird and evil ways and their wicked ways and their fake ways. That's what his whole intention was. But then, for how we reviewed it in that video, or in that specific arc, which I think is going to be in this same video. How I'm editing it, I don't know, but I think it's going to be in the same video. But if you look at that text. Wiseguys is basically telling Famous Criminals, like, hey, I'm just here to expose. So it would make more sense that if you're here to expose, you wouldn't just sponsor only one person. You would think, and again, this is why, again, you don't fully blame Wiseguys, because he's not too familiar with the internet. But if he had a better understanding, it would make more sense to sponsor the YouTube pages. It would make more sense too, because you see how, like, they ended up turning his back on Wiseguys. Now, if Wiseguys was to be paying the YouTubers, we're the hardworking ones, not the ones that go live. The ones that go live just go live. Anybody could go on their phone, press a button, go live, and sit there and roast people, whoever. Anybody can do that. But to actually post content, and because what people don't understand is that, you see how I'm recording right now, I'm recording off of a camera. So what I'm looking at right now is the camera hole, but if I look right here, it is like basically the box that you could flip up so I can look at myself. But if I'm looking at myself, I can't look at you guys, which is the camera, so I have to look at the black thing. That messes up your train of thought, so you kind of have to edit out clips. Then on top of that, when you finish editing, you have to when you finish editing and you cut up the video, after you cut up the video, you have to save it. So when you save it, that saving part is not like downloading a picture or sending a picture like AirDrop. Like, that process takes like 30 minutes, sometimes 40-45 minutes, depending on how long the video is. And then on top of that, to upload it on YouTube takes another 30 to an hour just to upload it. So it all comes off of, do you have like the time, the discipline, and the drive? Because nobody really wants to just sit there and wait for something to load all day, and they can't use their phone or they can't use their camera and they have to wait. Like, it takes up time. So to plan out how I'm gonna structure the video, what am I gonna say, what am I not gonna say, all of that takes time. The people who go on Instagram Live, again, look at their reflection. John even said it himself. Jitman goes live. The minute John do one thing that Jitman don't like, he's calling him all types of bitches and crackers and this and all this derogatory slang. Same thing with Enzo. Same thing with Wavy. Same thing with most of the people who do Instagram Live. Especially even in the New York side of the West. I mean, in the East Coast side where I reside, where I was posting on my main channel. They do the same thing too. Anybody who goes live, they have a surface level, like, emotional standpoint, understand, like, everything about their character is superficial, so they're not going to be willing to grind. So that's where I understand. But then again, also, like I said too, Wiseguys or Mike, he's not obligated to give out money. He's not obligated to do anything for anybody. So the only reason why, again, I keep harping on it is because the intention, if his intention was from the very jump was to hop in this and destroy everybody, sensibly, logically, he would have gone a different route. But it doesn't make sense to sponsor somebody who doesn't have the drive. So, and I'm saying that to say that Wiseguys, he doesn't owe anybody money. He doesn't owe anybody nothing, really. He doesn't know. He's just a viewer, just like everybody else. He himself is choosing to go and give that money. So if he chooses to only give it to Enzo and J Wavy, that's none of our. That's solely up to him. That's his money. That don't mean nothing. You still have to grind and do what you got to do so that you could get it on your own, to where eventually, hey, maybe you have to work up to a certain point to where Mike or another sponsor from somewhere else but want to say, hey, I've been watching what you're doing. If you could wear this for me on your videos or do this for me, I'll pay you this. And it's not going to be a consistent thing, but I'll hit you up whenever I need you to do something. But here's a payment, or here's this, here's that. And then you keep it like that and you play it professional. You don't just hit the person up and say, hey, can you give me money for and again, shout out to Kent, because Kent was one of those YouTubers where when as Pluggy Plugger was coming up, he was like showing love. Like, he wasn't like he didn't say shout out Pluggy Plug. He didn't do that, but I know and he know, like, he was showing love. Him, Nelly, there's a couple people who on the live who didn't show love too, but Ken was one of the ones who like had more views than everybody and was showing me love. So I don't have nothing against Kentstreet. So if Kentstreet or if Wiseguys happens to watch this, just know that I'm speaking strictly from an objective standpoint. I'm not speaking from how I feel and oh, this is how it should be, and no, I don't move like that. I'm basically just reading the facts to you guys as it comes and then putting my input an objective input that like anybody who's watching this could agree with, because it makes sense. I'm not going off of feelings. So that's why I'm saying, like, so even if like John or anybody else watches this and they end up getting mad or feeling away like, oh, but you want to bring it up, but it's so long ago and blah blah, I'm just doing this review because I was been supposed to do this review. But again, as a YouTuber, me putting in that work and staying up and recording all these videos and having to, because I was posting what 10, 11, 12 videos a day and all that, and then me posting, I didn't really have much time to really be making so much money. And then on top of that, me making money is like, you're trying to save, so I'm not going, and you know, so I had to, when my channel had gotten deleted, Plugger channel got deleted, and my main channel got deleted, then that's when I say, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from YouTube. Let me try and get some money so I could go and get a camera, so I could go and plan out what I want to record, so I could get the items or whatever I need to record and post the videos and things like that. So I took that year or that year and a half or 8 months or however long it was, I took that year. But me and Wiseguys, from as soon as that whole situation happened, at the end of it, I ended up hitting up Mike or Wiseguys, and I said, hey, you know, and mind you, I had him up before too, for just for some sponsor work. But again, I wasn't really like, I was getting the views, yes, but I guess it just didn't make sense at the time for him. And you know, whatever the case might be, it's no loss. But so I still hit him up after the fact, and I didn't hit him up for money. I genuinely just hit him up to ask him for his side, basically his perspective, because since he's banished from the Instagram, he's not banished, but quote unquote banished from the from the South and Midwest Instagram live community, since he's kind of banned off that, and he doesn't have no platform for people to kind of talk to him on, because even the people like OD Hunt and Big Op Prince Hype, shout out to them, but they don't really have views or reach like that to where they can go and think, again, unlike the YouTubers. Because for a YouTuber, let's say me, right, if I get 200 views on this video or 80 views on this video, it don't matter, because I can go and post something else and get 1,000 or 2,000 views on that video, or 10K views on that, or 8,000 views on, whether it's Instagram live clips, or me reacting to an Instagram live clip, or me doing, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's like, it's not like a live. What you have to understand is, and I hope if Kentstreet and, I mean not Kentstreet, I hope if Wiseguys and Big Op and all these people who watch this, I hope you kind of understand what I'm trying to say is like, people got to understand that Instagram is not a place that you're going to really grow on in terms of views. So let's say, and I said this in the last video, if you have 20 views and you go live, and when you go live, you only have 20 views, that, let's say you go live Monday, you get 20 views. The next time you go live and you have 15 views or 20 views, those are not different people who want to watch you. Those are the same 20 viewers from the last thing, from the last live stream, that are coming back to watch you again. Same thing like Twitch, same thing like Kick. It's the same thing. Like you kind of have to have a fan base to have these platforms. But now, if you're a YouTuber, you can build your fan base on YouTube, because YouTube is what pushes your content for new people to watch. And when people go on YouTube, they're more open-minded to watch something new, because they're going on YouTube with the intention to watch stuff. So they're not really going on YouTube with the intention of only going to watch who they're subscribed to. Yes, they do that too. But if, let's say, like me, for instance, I watched DJ Ghost, and that was like the first, I would say the first, yeah, I could say consistently of me watching YouTube, he was the first YouTuber that I was watching. But before that, I didn't know who DJ Ghost was. Like, I wasn't really, because I wasn't really into YouTube, so I knew of him, like his face looked familiar, but I didn't really know of him. So when his videos got suggested to me, I was able to click on it, and then by clicking on it, remember, I'm more open-minded, because I'm more going off of the vibe. Is he cool? Does he move? Does he kind of look like he have a little bit of integrity, or does he look like, you know, a clown, or does he act like Jitman? You know, I'm trying to figure that out through the thumbnail and through watching you. And then from me watching Ghost and saying, oh, this guy's pretty cool, then I subscribe to him. And you know what I'm trying to say? But on Instagram, it don't work like that. Facebook, it don't work like that. Twitter and all these X and all that, it don't work like that. You have to have the fan base already, and then tell them to go follow your Instagram. Because Instagram isn't gonna, if I post a picture, like I'm about to post a picture, not after this video, but I have a couple videos to do and upload, and once I upload those videos, I'm gonna post a picture on Instagram. When I post a picture on Instagram, it's not gonna go and send out my picture to millions of people. It don't work like that. Like, YouTube does that. If let's say I'm watching reaction videos, and I'm only reacting to rap or drill or metal or guitar or band or whatever. Let's say I'm just reacting to strictly metal music. Let's say let's say I'm reacting to strictly that. what YouTube will do is that if there's other YouTubers that also react to metal music, what YouTube would do is that they would go and on my homepage or main feed or whatever, they would suggest a video of that YouTuber reacting to metal music. So now in your mind, as a person who's watching YouTube, I would like to watch more stuff so I don't have to be bored. So you know what? Let me go and click on his video if he looks cool. And then I go and click on his video. Does he make me laugh? Is his vibe there? Da, da, da. He's cool. Let me subscribe. And then I start watching. And that's how you kind of build a fan base on YouTube. So that's why, to bring it back now, I was kind of like letting OD and Big Op, because a lot, and not just them, but some people will go on, or like even Sideshow Lou, like they would go on Instagram Live with Enzo and them, and they'll say, I have clout and I have motion and I have this, and it's like, you only have clout because like the people who are watching you go live only know you from the live, going live with Enzo or Jay Wavy. So that's why I say it makes sense as to why Wiseguys or Mike wouldn't want to just sponsor any and everybody. Because in his mind, he's looking at it as like, hey, well, every time Big Op goes live with Enzo, they do numbers. Every time Enzo goes live with Jay Wavy, they do numbers. Every time Jay Wavy goes live with I be forgetting some of the people, with Xena, it does numbers. So it goes like that. But now let's say Sideshow Lou goes live and he only has 12 views by himself, or 40 views by himself, and his comments aren't really going like that. That could already let you know, or Big Op, because I seen him, or Big Op Prince Hype, or OD Hunt, and you see them go live and they only do like 20 or 50 views. And the comments aren't really going fast. Like, that's gonna show the person or Wiseguys like, hey, they don't really have motion. Yes, they have motion, but they only really have motion when they're with another person. You see what I'm saying? So it's more to the internet than just, oh, I have clout, or oh, people watch me, or oh, look at the streams. Like, everything else matters too. And that's why, like, Mike was saying, when we get to the Jay Wavy arc, he was saying how Jay Wavy is like fake, and they live like fake lives or personalities. And it's true, because Wiseguys, he met them, and once he met some of them, he realized like, hey, like, they don't really have the views like they say they do. They don't really have the clout like they say they have. They don't really have the influence like they say they have. But when you check Jay Wavy and Enzo's Instagram, though, 300,000, 200,000. But then why do you think they always saying, oh, I'm shadow banned? Like Enzo, I'm shadow banned. I don't know, I'm shadow banned. Why you think Enzo and them and Jay Wavy be saying I'm shadow banned? It's because they're botting their view, their followers, so that it gets to the 100K or the 30K or the 60K or whatever, so that they could say, oh, look, you see, I have real clout. But the whole time they don't have real clout, because if you had real clout, 200,000 followers on Instagram, if they're real, that is like, Jay Wavy wouldn't even be looking to even deal with Wiseguys from the jump if those followers that he has was real. So when Mike went and linked up and he's seen how everything kind of played out, it's like, like, damn, like, I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting scammed, because like Jay Wavy, he's not disciplined. And again, or not just Jay Wavy, but the Jay Wavy, Enzo, most of them who do this jitman, they're not disciplined. They focus on drugs. If I give them money, they're not using it productively. They're not saving it. Jay Wavy's asking me to like fake giving money for clothes. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you have money, or if you know you have real 200,000 followers, you can easily do promos, or you could easily do all these things and make money, because you have the followers to show. You have something that's to where people look at you for value. But if you don't have these things, it's gonna look kind of crazy. So again, I'm tying this all back now to me texting and hitting up Wiseguys, which I'll put in the video. I don't really know if I'm gonna clip it up and put it in its perspective arcs, or if I might just do like the ending of it and then just kind of speak on Wiseguys and do a summary. I might do it that way, I don't know. But so basically I ended up hitting up Wiseguys and, you know, just trying to figure it out. So I told Wiseguys that I was gonna then drop this video that I'm doing now, even though it's so long ago, because we were talking about how it took me a long time to drop it, and Kentstreet or somebody might say, hey, well, why are you bringing this up now, or why you guys want to talk about it? You trying to make me look bad? And I'm trying to explain to the viewers as to why it took so long for me to even drop this video. And it took so long for me to drop this video is because since I wasn't getting the money or the funds, and I had to make conscious, grown decisions, not like Enzo and Jay Wavy, but they could just go to Wiseguys or go somewhere and get money and then blow it away and not take no accountability. I had to actually sit back and take the time out to revise, also get a camera, because in order to do like a documentary style video, you need like 2 cameras, or you need two phones, but you need one phone preferably with a great camera, which doesn't make sense. So you're better off just buying a camera. And what I did was upgraded my phone, so I had the 13, so I have the 14 now. I have the 14 Pro Max, or yeah, the 14 Max, I don't know, but that's what I have now. So for me to do this video, right now I have the phone right next to it, and then the camera. So what I do is that I take the notes down, which I've been had from since the beginning, since the fallout. And what I do is I put it in a way to where I can, you know, read it off, say it to you guys, put up the clips, so that way you're able to follow through on a point and shoot, shout out point and shoot, on a point and shoot kind of level, to where it's not too confusing or I'm talking too much. And if I am talking too much, you know it's just a rant, so you could skip it. Whereas like you'll know when I'm strictly talking about what's going on and when I'm just adding in my own input. So you can choose whether or not to double skip or to watch the whole thing and also hear the storyline of everything, of how they fell out. So that's why it took me a minute. So now to do this video, now I have the camera, which I'm recording myself off of, and then I have the notes to where I can, you know, bring in the storyline properly so people can have a better understanding. So I'm gonna bring in Wiseguys, and we're gonna talk about it and stuff like that. But yeah, so to draw it all back to the main point, which we were even talking about, which was Wiseguys versus John, which one or who was wrong, I would say that again, it's I would say Kent looks wrong or looks bad for trying to go to Kentstreet. I mean, for trying to go to Mike. Okay, Kentstreet looks bad for trying to go to Mike, as if Mike is Kentstreet's dad or granddaddy or sugar dad, to where like, hey, give me $100 now, or oh, can you give me 300 thing, or can you send me 5 and off? Like it sounds, you know what I'm trying to say? Like normally when you're doing business, it's, hey, can you do this for me and I'll pay you for this. And then as you as the content creator, you go and when they give you the money, you go and you make this for this, you do this for this, and you show, and you know, and you work like that. It's kind of like a even exchange. But then again, the reason why I say that you can't really put too much blame on Ken is because with Ken is the same thing like John. And what I mean is this, and what I mean what's the same thing is like, Wiseguys never really made it clear on how he was coming with the sponsorships. So when you just see Enzo saying shout out to Wiseguys, shout out to Wiseguys, again, shout out to Enzo. But now people are like, Wiseguys, what? And then Enzo, he's not keeping it hush, he's not keeping it pee, he's not moving like how he's supposed to move. Because if I'm getting sponsored, mind you, and this is another thing too, working with YouTubers that Wiseguys doesn't understand. If you work with a YouTuber, especially a YouTuber like me, who I don't really like, I like to be known on my main channel, but I'm not a person that's gonna clout chase and want to go live and talk with Enzo and these people unless I have the clout already. But so I'm more focused on building my own community, my own space. So, you know, I'm not really trying to go live. So if you're sponsoring a YouTuber who's like that, they're not gonna go and tell people, oh, you know, you're not gonna go and hop on a fake page like how these Instagram live people do, and then go and say, oh, I put in the comments, oh, you know, I heard YouTubers are getting sponsored by this guy called Wise. I'm gonna keep it P, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna do what I gotta do. So if you say, hey, I have an idea for hoodie or whatever, blah, 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 you know, since you do reactions, or since you think you think you could get it done, or I want to plan on making like stickers, or I don't know, man, like anything that Wise Guy want to know, and he knows that he's giving me money consistently, I can use that money towards actually, and not do what J Wavy and Enzo do, and then you go and you buying chains, Enzo going to take all of Wise Guy's money and he getting his whole back tatted. Like this is like childish, like, you know what I'm trying to say? Is like it doesn't really. So to draw it back now, what I was gonna say is, with Kentstreet and John, Wiseguys, he didn't really make it too clear on exactly how he was giving out the sponsors. So nobody wants to really come across like, hey, like a pick me, hey, sponsor me, hey. Nobody really wants to kind of like, you know, for me, if let's say, because that's why Wiseguys, when he first came on the scene and he said he was giving out sponsors, you still got to kind of have a humbleness to you, and you still have to ask, like, oh, which I did in the beginning, you know, on Wiseguys, you know, I hear you giving out sponsors, and again, I showed my analytics, I showed how much views was getting per video, I showed him what I can do to incorporate his brand in the Instagram live videos that I upload, because I can average, or I have a sense of which clips are gonna do views, so I can kind of place it strategically in a way to where now you're getting constantly new views, and it's not the same Instagram live views that Enzo was saying shout out to Wiseguys for. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it makes more sense from a business perspective. So people don't want to go and just straight ask, like they don't want to come off pushy or like picky. But I feel like Kentstreet, even though he wasn't trying to, he kind of came off pushy, like, oh, I need $100 now, I'll pay you back. And like, you know, it was kind of, or oh, I want to put my daughter in T-ball. Can you give me like it doesn't really make sense, Kent. And I'm, you know, again, shout out to Kent, always show me love. But from an objective standpoint, from anybody who can listen to this, they would say the same thing I'm saying. Like, it has nothing. I'm not saying screw Kentstreet. Yeah, Wiseguys right, that he is a liar and a scammer. No, because it's not my beef. It's not my problem. I'm just basically from an objective standpoint. Yo, bro, this is how it's looking. Hey, Wiseguys, bro, this is how it's looking, and this is what I would say from a rational standpoint. This is what I feel like is the problem. So from the Wiseguys standpoint, I feel like he didn't make it more direct in how he's coming with the sponsorships. And for Kentstreet, I felt like him begging or kind of almost coming across like Wiseguys is just supposed to give him money is the wrong, is where he messed up. So now Wiseguys puts up story clips, and so that whole thread of Kentstreet versus Wiseguys is now over. So now Wiseguys, he goes and posts story clips of his response to not only Famous Criminals, but to Kentstreet. And he basically talks about how, you know, back in his day, he was a scammer and he was just like them. And, you know, that's why he doesn't fear them. And, you know, but he changed because he did it to live, and he did it to, you know, better himself as a man, but he wasn't publicizing it and stuff like that. And he's saying that, you know, he's being accountable, saying that it wasn't like, that he wasn't proud of it, or it wasn't something that was like, he was, you know, proud of doing, but, you know, he changed and, you know, things like that. So he basically goes into, you know, talk about how they're more, you know, scammers and liars and thieves or whatever. He basically adds on the same thing more about how he adds on the fact that they all thought that they used him up for everything that he's worth, so they kind of like tried to throw him into the dust. That's how he feels. So he's saying that whole time they're the ones getting played and not. He basically goes on to say how he doesn't feel sorry for them and how he genuinely tried to help Enzo, but he's not a person who knows anything about the media or has connection or anything like that. He's just a man with a bag that was just trying to come and help Enzo get to the next level, but he can't want that for Enzo. Enzo has to have that mentality to want to push himself to get to that level. So that's what he's trying to say, more lines close to Enzo. He adds on that they tried to like paint him as the ugly guy or the bad guy, so that people could go and, you know, rally up behind them, thinking that Wiseguys is. But he's saying that he did things, the same things that they did to him and to other people, to expose them once he realized that, hey, they aren't as like real as they claim to be. He basically goes on to say how like he lied and he tried to paint a narrative, or tried to fit into their group.